Everyone, so Darvin Ham has officially confirmed that D'Angelo Russell will be the starting point guard over Gabe Vincent. So Darvin Ham says he's our starting point guard. Lakers head coach Darvin Ham told reporters on Thursday, adding that Vincent will come off the bench. Now, I don't think that this was a surprise or shock to anybody. Now, there were the reports and the talks that, hey, Gabe Vincent, him and D'Lo will kind of duke it out and battle it out, and Gabe Vincent very likely could be the starter. And look, to an extent, there is a real argument to start Gabe Vincent just for the defensive purposes, right? Especially if you're starting Rui Hachimura, going Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Okay, I understand that because it gives you a balance of offense and defense, but D'Lo is the better player. With the starters, we saw what they were able to do and able to go to the Western Conference Finals. I also think that they've already gotten a pretty good look. So they already had LeBron James training camp over the past weekend, and Darvin Ham was there, and they ran scrimmages, and they did all the fun stuff that you want to see. And I'm sure that they have an idea. And like I've always said, it's D'Angelo Russell's job to lose. Right? The only way he's not going to be the starter is if he's just like atrocious for whatever reason in training camp. Even if it's close between him and Gabe Vincent, he's going to get the nod. He's making the most money. He's the guy that also they want to showcase and they want to see what does he look like. Now, I know a lot of people get upset when I talk about potentially trading him or whatever. And look, I'm a guy that wanted deal. I talked about the Lakers getting D'Lo before we even got him, like literally like weeks before, because I thought it would be a great fit. I thought it made a lot of sense and I thought he was obtainable. But the realities are the realities. There was talks heading into free agency that the Lakers wanted to re-sign D'Lo solely so they could trade him at some point. Then they go and convince him to waive his no-trade clause. And if the Lakers are ever going to make any impactful trade this season, it's going to be for D'Angelo Russell, right? Me talking about, hey, what is likely to happen if a trade goes down doesn't mean that I don't want him. There's plenty of players that I want, but nobody's untouchable. I like Austin Reeves. I like Rui Hachimura. If Giannis was available tomorrow, you wouldn't trade Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura to go get Giannis? Of course you would. Just because I like somebody and I think that they're great on the Lakers doesn't mean if something doesn't make sense, you don't go do it. And D'Lo is the best, most likely scenario for that to happen. But I want him to have success. I want to see him have success because if he's successful, then the Lakers are going to be successful. I also think that there's a level of recency bias here, and people kind of discredit how good D'Lo was for the Lakers. I mean, this was a 17-point-a-game guy as like the third or fourth option who shot nearly 42% from three, 50% from the field. He needs to improve his free throw shooting. I don't know what was going on with his free throw shooting because he's not a bad free throw shooter. But this guy may be, next to LeBron James, our best playmaker. And this is a guy that played off the ball extremely well. I want his success. I want him to be good on this Lakers roster. But again, if there is something that makes sense, Rob Pelinka is going to end up pulling the trigger on that. That's what he's going to do. And I'm not even talking about like a Kyrie Irving. I'm not even talking about like a DeMar DeRozan or something like that. I'm not saying that they're just going to trade and just give D'Lo away. But if they have a need, if they have a fit, right? Say they're like, we desperately need Valanciunas. We're getting killed on the glass. We're getting killed down in the perimeter with AD playing the 4. Let's go get Valanciunas. You're not trading Rui. You're not doing anything like that. You're probably trading D'Lo. That's why I talk about when I talk about. But D'Lo, I do believe, has the potential to have an extreme impact. I mean, there's a real argument that he's probably going to be the third best player on the Lakers. I think it's him, Reeves, and Christian Wood. Those are the three guys I think are most likely to be that kind of third guy for the Lakers. But D'Lo, I mean, he's also the one guy that actively tried to get Anthony Davis the basketball, right? Like, so he could just be valuable in that regard. And I hope he's so good we can't trade him, right? I hope he is so good this season that it makes zero sense for us to unload him. Because one of the best plays in all of basketball last year was the D'Lo Anthony Davis pick and roll. And that was with them playing like 8 full games together heading into the playoffs. What does this look like when they have a full offseason, a full training camp, a full preseason, and things start clicking, things start flowing, right? I think it'd be great for D'Lo. But he's the guy that I'm really excited, and I'm curious to see how much of an impact he has. Because again, I personally kind of want to see him just kind of be a scorer, right? Like, so the Lakers want to put the ball in Austin Reeves' hands more, right? You also have LeBron James. And on top of wanting to do that with Austin Reeves wants that to happen. So I don't mind, like, even if you want to just for, lineup purposes, have D'Lo at the point, I would actually make D'Lo just a scorer. And look, I get he's always kind of been a scorer, but I'm saying just focus on that. Don't worry about going and being a 17-6 guy, right? Don't worry about the assists. Obviously, if the guy's wide open, go kick it out to him, go give him the basketball, make that work, make that happen. But beyond that, like, go look to get your buckets, right? If you have the ball, you got the green light. Go get yourself to 23 a game. Go get yourself to 25 a game, right? Because again, you have Austin Reeves, you have LeBron James, who in the starting unit, the ball's going to flow through them a lot regardless, right? And so instead of having D'Lo kind of try to find this weird balance like he did last year, and I mean, he even talked about it, like it was hard to like, do you want me to score? Because at times you seem to want me to score, and then other times you want me to make plays. So what is it? I think it would be best to just carve out D'Lo's role and just say, don't worry so much about assisting, right? Maybe you run certain sets where you don't have Reeves and you don't have LeBron. And like when those guys aren't on the court, say it's like D'Lo, Christie, Prince, Rui, and Wood or something like that. Whatever. Just putting a 5 out there, right? And you're the sole playmaker, then yes, go make plays for everybody. But if you're on the court with Austin Reeves or LeBron or both, your job is to just go get buckets. I think that would be the best course of action. Again, that's just me personally. I also think, I think you have to start Jared Vanderbilt. The best, well-balanced unit, in my opinion, is D'Lo, Reeves, Vando, LeBron, and AD, right? Because one, you keep the continuity from last season. That carries over. That was a starting 5 that led you to a Western Conference Finals. And you have your 2 best shooters in D'Lo and Reeves. Then you have your do-everything superstar in LeBron James. Then you have the best defensive player in the league in Anthony Davis, who can go get you 30 and 15. He led the league in 30 and 15 games. He led the league in 30 and 15 games. You got that. And then Jared Vanderbilt, hopefully, he has that improved three-point stroke, and which he's been working on like a madman. And I'm not saying he has to be elite by any stretch, but can he just be around, even league average, 35%, or even slightly below, 34%, to where he's at least respectable to where you have to go challenge, right? Then now you have your best perimeter defender, your best point of attack defender. You have the best defender in the league. You have LeBron James, who can defend when he wants to. You have Austin Reeves, who's good, not great. And then you have D'Lo, who's your one liability on the defensive end. But Jared Vanderbilt's going to defend the best player on the other team anyway. Then you could throw Reeves on whomever else. And then D'Lo, kind of, you could just put on who is the easiest matchup, right? And that's kind of the approach you could go. That's kind of my thoughts as far as that goes. I do appreciate, though, D'Lo at least tries defensively. Like, he was trying with the Lakers, right? Like, again, he's not a good defender. He does have all of the tools to be. But he's just been rough, and, but he tried more last season with us than he has probably ever in his career. So I'm hoping that he continues to do that, and he continues to kind of take on the challenge on that end, and Darvin Ham can kind of continue to get him to believe into that, because that would be excellent for us. But I think you need to find and carve out D'Lo's role, right? I think you need to make him a scorer in the starting unit, and then if he's running with the bench unit, that's where he gets to be the playmaker. Because Gabe Vincent isn't a great playmaker. He's a great spot-up 3-and-D type point guard, but he's not a guy that you want wheeling and dealing for everybody, right? Where you could have D'Lo be that guy, allow him, and you could put him easily at the 2 and put Gabe Vincent at the point, for position's sake. And then, but let D'Lo kind of be the main ball handler and distributor. And so he's wheeling and dealing and giving everybody, their buckets and getting everyone going because he likes that. He's talked about how much he enjoys doing that. And I'd like to see him continue to do that. But when he's with Austin Reeves or he's alongside LeBron James or both, that's where he becomes a scorer. And I also think it's good that we know ahead of time who's the starting unit, right? Because it's just that way you can start operating those. Like, what to expect. And that's also why I like Vanderbilt in the starting unit, because you already know what that looks like. You don't need to experiment, right? You don't need to try different things. You know what last year's starting five looks like, and it was one of the best in the entire league, and it led you to a Western Conference Finals, right? So keep that continuity. Have your starting backcourt be Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell with Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. And then you can, during training camp, experiment with other stuff, right? What does these four look like with Rui? What does these look like with Wood? What does it look like? And then that way you don't have to try to work out the kinks with the starters. I mean, obviously you want to play the starting unit together, but I'm saying, like, instead of you trying to experiment and find, like, okay, going with Rui, are we going with Vando? You already have your starting unit locked up. So you don't need to focus on that as much in training camp. You're just trying to get them to build the experience and building the repetitions, English, and put that together in order to, be ready for the season. But outside of that, you can try, like, what does D'Lo look with Wood and Christie and Reddish and, whomever, right? Like, those are the kind of different lineups that I would experiment with. Like, what does D'Lo look like with the bench unit, right? What does Reeves look like with the bench unit? Those kind of things. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel about D'Lo being named the starting point guard? Love to hear it. Let me know down